Oh, welcome to the first episode of the Punk Rock Pinball Podcast. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Mike.
And let's get started. So, Mike, a little bit of why we're starting the podcast.
So, we got our first pinball machine about a year ago. It was Jaws Pro. And then that quickly escalated into... How many machines do we have now?
Working?
Just total.
14.
So in the last, I guess it's been about just over a year, and we've got now 14 machines. We started playing in some local tournaments and just became obsessed with pinball. And you might be listening to this on the Live from the Rock Room YouTube, and you'd say, why pinball? But for me, growing up, like pinball and like punk music kind of went hand in hand. A lot of the venues used to have pinball machines. I play in a band called the Smoking Popes. We used to rehearse upstairs at the Metro, and then downstairs at the Smart Bar, there was a Star Trek The Next Generation, and we'd always play that for an hour or two before or after practice. So like pinball and like punk music or rock music, I feel like just kind of go hand in hand. So rather than make a new channel to do this stuff, we're just going to do it all together.
I mean, a lot of the people who go to live shows and have enjoyed music live over the years probably do the same thing, or did the same thing, you know? Like you see pinball machines in bars and clubs all the time. And you got to put a quarter or four in to play every time you see one, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so are we going to do any kind of crossover between the music and the pinball, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I've got how many machines down here? I've got 8 machines down here in the basement right now. We're not doing this on video. We might do this on video eventually, but it's a pain in the ass to do video. So we're doing this audio right now. But I will have some folks come and set up and do like some acoustic songs in front of these pinball machines. So if you play in a band, like a punk rock or a punk adjacent band, and you want to come to my house and play pinball and sing some songs in front of my pinball machines, like send me a message.
Yeah,
we can make it happen.
Conveniently located between Chicago and St. Louis.
Yeah, Bloomington, Illinois, or Illinois.
Yeah, we're about halfway down the state where it is no longer Illinois, but that's what we say. Okay. Also, we've got a Facebook group. So if you want to participate in the conversation that way, it would be super cool to join it. It's Punk Rock Pinball on Facebook.
Yeah,
right?
Just search Facebook groups, Punk Rock Pinball. It's the only one called Punk Rock Pinball. So join that group. We also have like parties and tournaments at my house sometimes. You may be able to come. You'd have to send me a message if you want to come. But last time we had about 30 people. We're going to do one in August. Probably have 30 or so people again. So come play tournaments at my house if you're not a crazy person. So you'll have to like message me on Facebook and I'll determine whether or not you're crazy. We also fill up real fast, so it could be full. You might want to come to one and it's like going to be full, but you could maybe get in the next one.
All right, hot topic, Mike. Hot pinball topic out there. Jaws 50th. Just got released. It is the game that that this entire obsession at our house began with the Jaws machine, because it is my favorite movie. I've seen it hundreds of times. Always wanted a pinball machine, and when those two worlds intersected last year in 2024, we knew we had to get a pinball machine, so we got the Jaws Pro. And how many times have we played that thing?
I've played Jaws Pro about 1,130 times. And you've played it more.
I love it. I'm not super good at it all the time, but I love it. It is so awesome. And this year, 2025, is the 50th anniversary of the greatest movie ever made, Jaws. And Stern celebrated, along with a bunch of other companies who have released things to celebrate the Jaws 50th. And I think the new machine is pretty cool. The premium version with the cool new artwork, with the sparkle in the play field, and the cool red armor on it. And I have to say, the artwork on this one is my favorite. It is like classic Jaws. If I didn't know the Jaws pinball machine existed, this is what I think it should look like. So I'm pretty excited about it. But there's a lot of haters out there.
Yeah, there are a lot of haters and complainers, and people do this every time Stern remakes a game, it seems. There seems to be this, I'm sure some of you are pinball people, some of you are probably not. Stern is like the biggest pinball manufacturer by a mile or many miles. I think they own about 85 to 90% of the market. Some of you might not even know that they still make pinball machines. They do, and Stern makes the most. But the hardcore pinball people oftentimes talk about Stern, that they will kind of bash them almost as though Stern is like Walmart or Amazon, without the understanding that, like, yes, they are the largest pinball manufacturer, but they're still, in the grand scheme of things, they're a small business. And I would assume they're operating on pretty tight margins. But the pinball buying community, they like to get their feathers ruffled if they make a different version of a game because, like, oh, I bought the limited edition and now it's going to go down in value because you made this other one. And like Stephanie had found like a pretty good comment on Facebook about this, which I'll let her pull up and read. But like this comment's very typical. There's just a lot of people in this hobby that are really grumpy. I guess that applies to like most hobbies. I collect sports cards. People get weird about cards. They get real weird about pinball machines.
They're toys, though. I mean, they're games.
Yeah, it's a game.
It's not an investment.
No, if you're buying pinball machines as an investment, you're doing it wrong. Like, if your motivation isn't, I want to play this hundreds of times, or I just want to look at this thing because it looks awesome in my house, those are the reasons you should buy a pinball machine. But not like, I'm buying this limited edition so it'll go up in value. Like, no, get into the stock market and things like that. There's high yield savings account, CDs, investment accounts. If you want to invest, like, do it there. This is for fun.
So when this 50th anniversary edition got announced and they released the pictures of it, I have to say, it seemed like most of the comments were real snarky and shitty. And as I look through them, I have to say, most people I think now are saying, like, it's cool, maybe not for me. I already have an LE and I like it. It's not making me feel like I'm missing out on stuff. But that first day, man, it just felt like the feed was filled with like just crappy comments from bitter people. And maybe it's because we're Midwestern. I don't know, but I just feel like, remember when your mom used to tell you, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I guess the internet should just, in totality, should be reminded of that. But I want to read this one, and names are being held to protect whoever. But here's a comment that someone wrote on a Stern post. Disappointed. Stern, you've gotten into a lazy cycle of re-releasing games instead of developing new ones. How many recycled games have you guys released in the last 2 years alone? 3? 4? Those are precious release spots that could be used for new games. Stop with the lazy, quick cash grab releases already. Your competitors are taking note of your lack of innovation and laziness. Do better. The anniversary gimmick has gotten old already. You beat that dead horse into the ground. I mean, I guess you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot there because, for one, how many new games, not anniversary editions, how many new games does Stern do per year? Like 3?
Well, last year they did Jaws, they did Wick, they did X-Men, Uncanny X-Men.
Was D&D last year?
That was January of this year. So if
January
you want
this
to
year.
count 12 months, sure.
So in a 12-month period,
Plus the Metallica remaster.
as a remaster, see, remaking an old one. Boo. Even though everybody loves a Metallica remaster. So in a calendar year, in a 12-month period, Stern did 4 new titles, brand new. Not anniversaries, not remakes, brand new. So this fella mentions your competitors are taking note. Well, how many new games does Spooky Pinball do in a year? They do 1. How many does Jersey Jack do in a year? Usually 1. Pinball Brothers, like every few years they do 1. Chicago Gaming, not even 1 per year. Dutch Pinball, not even 1 per year. So which competitors are we talking about that are doing more than 4 new titles per year?
Well, I think it's probably just a lack of understanding also how the business works. I have to assume that when Stern or any of the pinball companies are working on a licensing deal like they did with Jaws, and the Jaws pinball machine, for those of you who aren't super nerds like us, when they originally launched it, they launched it with 3 different versions of the game. There was the limited edition, which is exactly that, limited edition, all of the bells and whistles. Then a premium edition, which is just kind of a step below that there wasn't a limit on the production of. And then a pro version, which is kind of a more stripped down version, less bells and whistles, less mechs, toys, whatever you want to call it on there. And now, a year and a half later, they're releasing the Jaws 50th. I have to believe that when they worked with the Jaws, the people who own the Jaws property, they had all 4 of these machines designed and finished and planned for production. They were just holding this last 4th one for the big year, the July 2025 release of the 50th edition. So I don't think it's a cash grab. I think this was planned from the very beginning when they got the deal.
Probably, most likely so. And if it is a cash grab, I mean, okay, Stern has like this big factory. They have a whole bunch of employees. They have a handful of like the best pinball designers in the world. I guess this is turned into like a Stern pitch, so we're Stern shills already. But this is the reality, is like Stern is a functioning company that has a factory, and they need to make machines or they go out of business. And that Jaws 50th is probably already planned. And if it is just a cash grab, so what? They probably need the cash. Like, they probably need the cash from however they're probably going to sell 500 to 1,000 of these. And if you had a pinball company and had the Jaws license, you would be an idiot if you didn't make a 50th anniversary edition of the game. And then there's some that will complain they didn't put enough in it. Well, if you put enough in it, then the LE people are going to be even more mad. So it's basically another premium. It costs the same as the premium edition. They still make the premium. So if you think the red powder coat armor is ugly, you can still buy a premium. Or if you think it's ugly and you have a premium, congratulations, you can keep your premium. Or if you're like us and you think, hey, this looks pretty cool, you can sell your Jaws Pro like we're going to do and buy the 50th. And it's all, we have these choices. And it's a pinball machine that these guys made. So I don't know why some people get so in a huff. And I know they're talking like, oh, your competitors are taking note. It's like, Stern, their competitors are making some better machines. You have Jersey Jack just did Harry Potter, and the machine looks great. We won't be buyers on that for certain reasons, but it looks great. Spooky, it's got the Evil Dead, which is sold out. It looks fantastic. It has a ton in it.
So fun to play.
It's a wide body. It's super fun to play. But those companies are in a different position, I think, than Stern, who's like, it's like a larger scale operation with like hundreds of employees, and what they have to make per month in revenue to stay alive is probably quadruple any of these others. And Jersey Jack is owned by this multi-billionaire anyway, so they can do whatever the hell they want, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see this Jaws 50th in real life.
Yeah, me too. I think we might be getting it next week from Troy at Tilt Amusements. I texted him over the weekend. He said it's supposed to be on the line this coming week. Today's July 5th. I don't know when this will be out, but this time next week we might have a Jaws 50th.
Just in time for the August.
In the house. For
the August Punk Rock Pinball Tournament at the house. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I've just been, we watch a lot of different pinball podcasts, and we're in all the different pinball groups on Facebook. And if you defend Stern, because they're not above criticism, but it's just funny, if you defend Stern, you're like you're in the Stern army, and you're a Stern shill, and you're a Stern fanboy, because they're the biggest. And the perception in the hobby is, since they're the biggest, they're this, they're like Amazon or Walmart, some giant company who's just like money, money, money. I suspect they need the money. Like their margins can't be very big. These things are made in the United States with people in their factories that are making probably a living wage, I would assume. And so, like, what's their margin per machine? They need to have things that sell, and like a Jaws 50th will sell. So I say make the thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about all of the things that go into it, the licensing is not inexpensive. I don't know exactly what those numbers are, but I know it can't be cheap. And then we all know about the designers who each the game designers that have their followings and have made all of these amazing games, and all of the people, the personalities that are behind Stern. And then you think of, like you said, the people, these are made by hand. I mean, there's machinery, but when they're being assembled, I haven't been to the plant, but it sure looks like it's hand assembled. That's a lot of labor hours.
Yeah, there's this playfield going down the assembly line, and there's different people like with like drills and screwdrivers, like screwing in the shit, like putting it together, actual humans putting these things together.
In America.
Like in America, in Chicagoland, Illinois. So like that's not cheap, that kind of labor. And if that line goes dead, like if they don't have a machine to make at the time, then those people don't have a job. So I say Stern, keep cranking them out. And we won't buy them all, but we'll buy some of them.
We'll buy some of them. And I mean, we do have machines. We have a lot of Sterns, but we also have some other ones too. So we're not total Stern shills.
Not just Stern.
Not just Stern. But I really do I agree with you. They put out a great game, and the Jaws machine that we got a little over a year ago, we've had 0 problems with it. Like none.
Yeah, I think the game has around 4,300 plays, and it's one of the few that we have not lifted the playfield since the day we set that game up. Like the day we set it up, we lifted the playfield, made sure everything was connected and tight, and since that day, that playfield has not been raised. And if you own pinball machines, think about having a machine where you can play 4,300 times and not have to lift the playfield ever. And it's only even had a few stuck balls. Like the glass has only had to come off for cleaning, and like stuck balls maybe 3 or 4 times.
And the stuck balls were really because of the mods I put on them.
Yeah, Stephanie put some mods in, and some balls got stuck where the mods were. So had the mods not been there, there would have been no stuck balls.
It's a great machine.
So yeah, it's been great. It's been great. But we own a Chicago Gaming. We have Cactus Canyon. We own a Jersey Jack. We have Avatar, which a lot of people love to hate that one. I enjoy it.
We'll talk about that on a different episode.
It'll be a different episode. We have an old Williams Firepower, 1980 Williams. And then we have some older some of the older Sterns, not real old ones, but like Ripley's, X-Men, Pirates.
Yeah.
And we may add another probably older Bally Williams, like a Gorgar or maybe a Black Knight, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's play a game.
Okay.
Let's play a game called You Choose.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
You choose. I am going to ask you the you choose.
Okay.
Okay? So you choose out of the games that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can only keep 2. What do you choose?
Okay. So the games we have James Bond, but that's going away. Uncanny X-Men is coming in. So we'll say Uncanny X-Men, Venom, Monsters, the 2012 X-Men, Pirates of the Caribbean, Stern, Ripley's Believe It or Not, The Beatles, Firepower, Avatar, Cactus Canyon, Foo Fighters, Jaws, Led Zeppelin, and John Wick. That's what we have. I can keep 2.
You choose.
Okay, I'm keeping Jaws. And then for me, it's really tough. The second one's either going to be between Firepower, John Wick, or Cactus Canyon.
I'm surprised. I really had no idea what you were going to pick, but I'm kind of surprised by those 3.
For me, like John Wick it's nothing like Firepower, but it is like Firepower in that the game kicks my ass. So I mostly do terrible and then I want to hit start again. And Firepower is the same. But I might keep Jaws and Cactus Canyon.
Okay.
That's the 2 I'm keeping.
You're sticking to it?
Yeah, because Cactus Canyon is just lighthearted and fun, and it's easier. It's approachable. You don't really have to think when you're playing it.
And it's getting a extension of the code coming soon.
Yeah, there's a whole new code update coming for that, which has been delayed again by Chicago Gaming. Supposed to come out last month.
It'll come out
I think
next
it's supposed to come out a month in May, and then it's June, and now they're saying mid-July. So it'll probably be out next year. But when it's here, we'll enjoy it. Keeping Jaws, we'll have the Jaws 50th when we get that next week in Cactus Canyon. Which 2 are you keeping?
Oh, we're both doing
Yeah,
you choose?
yeah.
Okay. You said Firepower?
I said Cactus Canyon.
Cactus Canyon, sorry. I'm saying Jaws, of course. I can't live without Jaws. I have to play it every day. So if I ever not say Jaws in response to that question, you should maybe see if I'm feeling okay. But I'm going to say Firepower because that one is, I will say, I'll come over to it and turn it on and think to myself, I'm just going to play like 2 games. And next thing I know, it's like an hour later because I have to keep hitting start. It just is so frustrating and so fun. I love the shots. After we clean the playfield on this one, it is kind of extra fun for me right now too. And I've only gotten the multi-ball like twice, I think. And I get so excited that I kind of like start playing like a monkey and lose the balls right away. So I kind of want to be able to play the multi-ball.
I think I've had the multi-ball 3 times, and they usually just all drain right away.
Uh-huh.
And there's no ball saver when the multi-ball starts. So you're just flailing away, and the game just drains fast anyway. So I've never had a good multi-ball. I've only gotten it 3 times, and it usually ends rather quickly.
It does.
Okay, so I guess I'll ask you this one. We talk about this all the time because we're nerds, but like, what would be a dream pinball theme that doesn't? Maybe it could exist already. Maybe there's a 1980s or 90s one. But what's a dream pinball theme that you would like to see made?
Okay, I mean, I've been hoping for this one for a while. Goonies. Allegedly, one of the smaller manufacturers, or a couple of them, have have the rights to make this theme, but that is like after Jaws, one of my favorite movies. I would say Jaws, Goonies, Shining. I don't know if I want a Shining pinball, but it might be cool.
Shining could be cool.
But that would never happen.
So if somebody has the rights to Goonies, I think the rumor is that it's Dutch pinball.
Then I'm interested.
Which the only downside there is if it is Dutch pinball that does have it, you probably won't see that machine for like two years because they take forever to make a game. So if you could choose which manufacturer to make Goonies, who would you choose?
Jersey Jack.
You'd choose Jersey Jack.
Uh-huh. I like our Avatar. I like the light show on it. Even the videos that I've seen on the Harry Potter, it looks pretty cool. If you're like a Potterhead, I think it would be really cool.
I think if I could pick who to make Goonies, I would pick Spooky.
Oh yeah, shit.
I think I would take Spooky because Spooky puts the difference between a Spooky and a Jersey Jack to me is like the Jersey Jacks look the nicest. They look the nicest. They're shiny. The light shows are awesome. But the way the modes that Spooky did with Evil Dead and what they put into the game with the shotgun and the hand.
They love the movie.
And the cabin. I don't think there's anybody that's done like in terms of putting crap into the playfield to represent the theme. I don't think Evil Dead can be topped.
Yeah, I think you're probably. I might change my. Well, I'll change my answer to that. I think you're right. I think any of the Spooky games that are connected to like a movie or a property, they really seem to love them.
Yeah.
And really want to do right by them. And I guess you get to do that if you're more boutique, kind of smaller guy with different overhead and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, just in terms of like putting stuff, actual mechs and things in the playfield, like Evil Dead is the best movie pin ever made. I haven't played it enough to really say. I'm sure Jaws shoots better. I'm sure Jaws plays better. But in terms, like just the modes they designed and then like the things in the machine physically, like Evil Dead, like smokes Jaws on that regard. Just like what's in there.
Yeah.
I still think Jaws, for like theme integration with the code, I think Jaws is the best. Like the clips they chose to use for that movie, like Jaws is probably the best movie pin ever, but like Evil Dead's right there. And I wish that we'd ordered one.
I know. Well, one day,
when
you know
could
what?
Still order one.
they'll be out there. You don't always have to have the brand new shiny toy.
No.
Even though you want it, but like one day, Mike.
What I'm hoping is, because I hear the rumors that the next couple spooky themes might be, what was it? Like Beetlejuice or Gremlins. So what I'm hoping is like a lot of you people go, you have an Evil Dead and then you're going to sell your Evil Dead to get a Beetlejuice. And at that point, I'll buy your Evil Dead used.
Yeah, you only have so many spots in your house for a pinball machine.
So Steph's dream theme number 1.
Goonies.
Jaws
is already done.
And so if you first said you want Jersey Jack to make it, but then you switched to Spooky. So would you say like Spooky first, Jersey Jack second, Stern third on who you'd want to have make that?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a tough call for me between...
It depends on it would be more interesting, I think, to think about who to design it. I know who I'd want to design it. You know who I would want to design it.
You'd like to have Jack Danger design it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a fan of his games. I love the Foo Fighters, hate the band, love the game.
Same. Well, I don't hate the band, but I don't love the band.
Well, hate's a strong word. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of that pinball machine.
The machine's great.
The art's great. The gameplay is great. The story's great.
So I think ideal scenario for Goonies would be Jack Danger designs the layout, and he has the budget that Spooky spent on Evil Dead for what can go in there.
Yeah.
So he can come up with all this crazy shit he wants to put in there, and they're gonna say, yes, you can do that. So
I love it.
Maybe Jack Danger goes to Spooky on a one-off contract.
Yeah, it's my
Designs
fantasy world.
Goonies. I don't think Goonies has or Spooky has Goonies. I don't think they do. I think it's going to be Dutch.
Well, we'll see. I like their games too.
Yeah, The Big Lebowski's good.
Okay, well, we're going to keep these to like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So this is the point of the podcast where I'm going to say, don't forget to join the Facebook group. Let us know what you think about the Jaws 50th. And let us know what your dream theme is too.
Yeah, what's your dream theme? Who do you want to have make it? And who do you want to see sing songs in front of pinball machines? If there's an artist, don't name any big artists. I can't get big artists in here, but like think about mid-level punk and indie bands. If there's one of them you want to see sing songs in front of pinball machines, put that in the comments. If you are an artist like that wants to sing songs in front of pinball machines, like send me a message. You friend me on Facebook, send a message on Instagram, wherever. And thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Keep on flipping.
Toodaloo.